Hello again, Billy here, and we're gonna continue on with My Hero Academia, chapter 14. Last chapter, we saw them. We saw the Vestiges come up with the plan to essentially throw quirk bombs. Use themselves as weapons to destroy or to target the mental wound that had been inflicted on Shigaraki by Star and Stripe. And Deku was a bit sort of confused as to how that's going to work, and they used the analogy of, how you can request something or receive something from a friend. They could either give it forcefully and damage the object or the item in the process and potentially also damage you who's receiving the item, or they could, give it non-forcefully and, preserve the integrity of the item and also yourself, right? And so they're going to try and do that. So they're starting off with the second wielder. I don't remember his name, but just call him Leader. And yeah, they're going to try and see if that's going to have an impact on Shigaraki. They're just going to get rid of the quirk factors one by one, and essentially that's going to be the end of One for All, because One for All, again, we know is the coalescence of all these powers. So it's pretty bittersweet, but it's necessary at this point because Shigaraki has surpassed Deku quirk-wise. He's surpassed him, and also like durability-wise, agility-wise. So this is sort of the ultimatum. They have to deal damage from within because he has a pretty tough exoskeleton. So we'll see if this pans out as they expect, and without further ado, let's jump right into it. Ooh, this has a summary. Again, regeneration. Second's last-ditch proposal to transfer One for All and thereby strike at the existence scar on his inner spirit. Now Deku has summoned the resolve to part ways with the power he inherited. I love this panel. It's looking like, what's the name of that? The Spider-Man variation with the, what is it, Iron Spider? Yeah. It's a huge gamble. Yes, he's bloodied up, so that's easy enough. Yeah. Really doesn't matter what it is you eat, as long as you eat it. Yeah. Yeah, so it cannot be forcefully. At this point, it can be forcefully taken, but basically, as long as the party willing is, or the party given is willing to give it, then it doesn't matter what the status of the recipient is, right? Beholden to our duty. Such is the life of heroes, eh? And this is what I was saying, they're not here, in the last chapter. They're not actually here. These are sort of manifestations of what they would be based off of their quirks residing within, One for All as a collective. So it's interesting that even now they're still hero-like, right? Which makes sense. It's embedded in them. Yeah, so this is gonna be tough because he has to make actual contact, to actually deliver the quirk. But also that means higher risk of getting X'd, because he can't regenerate, so heebie-jeebies. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. Is he gonna catch on to that? Yeah, he regenerates to that. But you know what they say about wounded animals, right? That's when they're most dangerous. A normal person would have given up, yeah? Or given up trying to defeat him and actually just focused on self-preservation, so survival. But, Deku is sort of the culmination of what heroes or who heroes should be, right? So he's gonna save people even at the expense of his own life, so. And look at this. Again, it sort of reminds me of the clash between him and Star and Stripe, but it was over the ocean, of course, right? But sort of this, because they beamed him down with the lasers, and then Star and Stripe try to get him. The lasers from the fighter jets. The different thoughts. This is where crushed, and this is where I transfer it. You're not useless. 6 full screen. Oh my goodness. He's grown so much. I'm so proud of him. It's just the way he uses his quirks, right? Brilliant. Yeah, against Lady Nagant. Yeah, that's what I was saying. So that's what I was wondering, if he's gonna be able to see, right, the quirk through. And he did, of course, right? Because, I mean, it can't just be a cape, right? Otherwise, I would search activate. It's funny how they drew Deku. Like super small and frail. I love how the blood is flowing with, like, it's flowing with him, like it's his willing the blood to flow that way, to jab him. Yeah, Baku was probably talking crap about, all this useless, non-combative, abilities, like smokescreen, useless, And then Deku's like, no, I'm sure they had awesome quirks, But this is before I think he had gained access to all the quirks, so, But Baku was probably just conjecturing that they had terrible quirks. You gonna get decayed, bro? Yeah, so he pulled a similar move to I believe it was Amajiki, so Sun Ether from third year, when he had used these his Chimera cannon, like the one bullet that essentially was able to pierce. He had used a similar move, Shigaraki, that's who I'm referring to. He had used a similar move to sort of increase his toughness, and yeah, he's sort of doing the same thing here, where like just covering himself with a bunch of fingers and hands, like that's the representation, but he's increasing his toughness, and yeah, it seems like that's what he's doing here as well. But is he gonna go through? Yeah, I'm gonna deal damage, pierce through. The cannon actually, the cannon that actually went through. So yeah, he was stunned for a bit. Did he lose an eye? Or is that like our POV of Shigaki's blood and then like covering his eye, or did Deku lose an eye? So from here. Yeah, he swiped him. He might have lost an eye. Well, maybe it's just his head. I don't know. Yeah, so without spoiling, there's something similar that happens in Fire Force with Sho and Shinra Kusakabe, but essentially Shinra is able to sort of see some of his brother's memories, but for different reasons. But it sort of reminded me of that. Yeah, because now they're connected by the second quirk, and so he was able to gain access to his memories. Yeah, so yeah, they're both invading each other's memory spaces, right? So this is sort of their origin stories, right? So when, I presume, when Shigaraki first met Dabi and Togen, was inviting them along, and also for Deku this was a pivotal moment because he was able to bring Todoroki from the edge. It's pretty edgy, right? Yeah, so their memories are blending together. I literally just said that. What the heck? I did not see that, I'm telling you. I just scrolled and was like, yeah, their memories are blending together. That's great. That's brilliant. Next, who's up next? Yeah, it's not enough. Yeah, he didn't lose an eye. Let's go. It was just his forehead. Oof, okay, man. Yeah, so we're getting somewhere. But now he's obviously onto the plan, so it's going to be more difficult than the first one, of course. But really good chapter. Really good chapter. Yeah, I mean, what? Deku's he's just the GOAT. I mean, we already know, right? First episode, this is how I, became, this is the story of how I became the strongest hero. But yeah, he's goated. We're seeing this, right? We're seeing it in action, right? But yeah, fantastic chapter. And of course we see again Deku being this combination of who a hero should be. And regardless of quirks, no quirks, in this context, obviously, you're using quirks to help people, to save people. Because someone who's quirkless, they might be able to help. We've seen the police force, for instance, like Sukaochi, for instance. He's obviously quirkless, but he's doing his own bit behind the scenes to save lives. But sometimes you need someone with actual quirks to deal damage, right? And to contain things, or to provide support, assistance, whatever. And so, but Deku, it's it's not the quirks that makes him, or that make him a good hero. It's sort of the admiration for quirks, but also admiration for the work that other heroes have done that made them heroic, if that makes sense. And in this context, it's quirks. But I mean, yeah, I just really like Deku. He's a really good character. But yeah, this was a really good chapter. I'm pretty excited to see the next one. And yeah, I'm guessing it's going to be sort of this back and forth of their memories are going to keep blending, and eventually Shigaraki is going to appear. They're going to have a second meeting again, but in the Vestige space, and Deku is going to extend the hand, sort of the whole Bakugo thing, extending his hand and pulling him back into the the non-dark side, right? But I think maybe that's 3 chapters away or something. But yeah, this was a really good chapter, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.